Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club.
I was going to say the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
But that's... Super Mario Brothers Super Club.
But that's getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, might as well play the theme song now.
Hey, paisanos! It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show!
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. If your sink is in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers. Hooked on the brothers. Yo, you're in for a treat, so hang on to your seat. Get ready for adventure and remarkable feats. You'll meet Koopas and Troopers, the princess and the others. Hanging with the plumbers, you'll be hooked on the brothers to the bridge. I say hooked on the brothers, the brothers.
It's really been on my mind lately. I don't know why. I just can't stop thinking about the Super Show.
It's a good show.
It is.
When you said... This is Mel's choice this week, by the way, everybody. And when you said you wanted to do the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, I thought about being like, are you sure you want to do the Super Show again? You don't want to do like Mario 3 or Mario World? But then I was like, no, let's do the Super Show.
The Super Show's the best one.
It is the best one, yeah.
Like, watching this episode, I kept thinking about Super Mario Bros. 3 and how inferior it was.
But Super Mario Bros. 3 does have the Koopalings.
Yeah, but they were terrible.
Well, we liked Cootie Pie in that one episode.
We did like Cootie Pie in that one episode, but all
not
the rest
in that
of
other
them...
episode.
The rest of them were terrible.
Yeah, alright. Well, this is the second episode that aired, although it seems to be the third one they made. And originally this aired September 5th, 1989. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, Mel, but the theme song was a little slow this time.
I did not notice that, no.
It's a little bit slower than usual, and I wondered why that was. And it turns out that for some reason, every version of this episode that's available now is a slowed down version of the episode.
Just because?
It's missing the preview for the week's Zelda episode, and it's missing the ad bumpers. And the episode has been slowed down so that it still matches the same runtime it would have had with those things.
Okay.
Which is a really strange choice. As far as I can tell, there's no other episode that's like if you go to the YouTube episodes or what's on Netflix or whatever, all of the others are at the normal speed. This is the only one that's been slowed down. I don't know why. It's really weird.
That is weird. And they all fit the runtime?
Yeah. They're all the same length. But this is the only one that's been slowed down to... I think all of the others still have the ad bumpers and the Zelda preview in them. So.
Oh. That is an interesting choice, to just pick one episode to take it from.
I saw some people theorizing that it might be that the original masters for this episode were lost, and that's the reason, but I don't know.
Interesting mystery.
But anyway, so we don't get a preview of the Zelda episode this week on the version we're watching, but that's okay because we already saw the preview for this Zelda episode, and we've already seen the Zelda episode that they would have been previewing, so...
I thought you were going to say that's okay because Zelda stinks.
Well, I didn't want to say it out loud.
I did it.
This would have been a preview for the Weird Wizard competition episode that we watched.
Great premise, terrible episode.
Yeah. So we open, as always, with live-action Mario and Luigi in a short segment called Day of the Orphan.
And Luigi's playing chess with some kind of weird spaghetti sewer man.
Right, he's got like a mop head.
Yeah.
I actually really loved this character.
Me too! I was like, why is he?
It feels weird to say that it's a great character design because it's a live action guy, but it's a really great character design.
I just love that there's like this hidden world of their lives that we don't really need to know about, but it exists and we see glimpses of it.
Yeah, this is Edison. He seems to be their electrician friend because he's wearing a hard hat with like an electricity symbol on it. So I'd assume he's, they're plumbers and he's the electrician.
Why is he crawling around in the sewer?
I don't know. Yeah, and why is he just like, he lives in the sewer? Because we only see him from the waist up because he is sticking out of a manhole that is for some reason inside the Mario Plumbing Company.
Well, they're the plumbers. They need easy access to the sewers.
I guess that's true, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. But why is he down there? And you can't see an inch of skin on this man.
No.
He is all mop with like a pair of goggles so that we know where his eyes are, and that's it. I love him. He's great.
Me too. I don't understand him, and I love it.
You'll be pleased to know I looked him up, and he is a recurring character.
Good.
He doesn't just appear for this one episode. He's in at least 5 that I could see, so...
Is he going to appear in the Legacy and future Mario games?
Oh, I really wish. Oh, please. Like, Nintendo owned the rights to this show, I'm pretty sure, because they referenced it in the movie. The recent movie had an extended reference to this show in it.
Right, they had the theme song in it.
Which, yeah, did we talk about that? I think when we talked about the legacy of this show the last time, it was before that movie came out.
I think so.
The Mario Super Show theme song actually appeared in the Super Mario Brothers movie fairly recently. So, what was it, last year that came out? Yeah,
not quite a year, but 2023. Yeah.
So that's cool. I loved that because I really liked the theme song to this show.
It's good.
They used it as the Mario Brothers like public access network commercial for their plumbing business, which is the perfect way to use it.
I agree. It was good.
Anyway, Edison. I was surprised to learn who is playing Edison here.
Who?
It's Maurice LaMarche.
Really?
Yeah, so we've talked about Maurice LaMarche a couple times, but always in bad contexts. We know Maurice LaMarche as the brain from Pinky and the Brain and Kif from Futurama. Those are always the main things I think of when I think of him. But he's done a million things. He's almost in everything, I feel like. Including this. But we have talked about him because he was the voice of Sleet in Sonic Underground.
Ugh.
And he was the voice of the Chief in Tak and the Power of Juju.
I forgot we watched that.
So, yeah, sorry, Maurice. This is of all the Maurice LaMarche appearances we've covered so far, this is my favorite.
Mine too. We don't have a lot to work with, so that doesn't convey how much I actually love this guy.
No, this, I think, is my favorite character. The thing is, I think I like the live-action parts of this show more than the animated parts.
I think I do too.
And it's like live-action Mario and Luigi are just so endearing and lovable.
I love live-action Luigi. He really grew on me in like the second episode, and ever since then.
And it's funny because it is the same actors who are doing them in the live-action parts, but they don't get to really like come across as characters the way they do in live-action when they're animated. It's
written stylistically very differently, I feel.
Well, I don't think the live-action parts are really written.
Well, then that explains it.
I came across that interview with, I can't remember who, it was with one of the two Mario brothers, where they had said that basically they had a very basic plot outline and then they just ad-libbed their way through the live-action parts.
Well, then that's why, because they're better comedians than the people are writers.
Yeah, I guess so. So much of the story of the live-action parts is told not through dialogue, it's just told through body language between the two Marios.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, Luigi's playing chess with Edison.
Now, let me see here. If I move my bishop 4 to queen 6, no, because if I do that, then I won't be able to move this one here. But then again, if I move that one here, then I can move this one here.
Yo, Edison!
Well, of course, if I move this one here, yes.
Is there not a blackout in the Bronx you should be taking care of?
Well, I have a move here.
I know, but we haven't got all day.
Okay, here it is.
That's it?
That's my move.
Please put Edison in a Mario game, Nintendo. He's great.
Turn him into like a weird race creature, but keep him in the world of Mario.
Well, they don't even need to change him to make him a weird race creature.
That's true.
He'd be so at home among like the residents of what's it called?
Mariopolis.
No, the main town from
Toad
Paper Mario
Town.
2.
Oh, it's been a while since I've played the second one. Rogueport.
Rogueport, thank you. Yes, Edison would fit in so well as a denizen of Rogueport.
I did love Rogueport. That place was great.
Yeah. So someone's at the door and Luigi goes to answer it, and we are introduced to Patty the Sad-Eyed Orphan.
Full title. She gives it to us.
Yep. And I feel like it's important that we call her that every time we mention her name.
That's how she's referred to every time.
So she gives her sob story about how she's been alone living on the streets for years. And it's her birthday and nobody cares.
Right, because if I was homeless for years, that would be the only thing I would talk about.
Also, yeah, I'd also be showing up at a plumber's business to tell them this.
Like, they must have some kind of reputation as just, like, the local good boys.
I think that it has been established that, like, people in the neighborhood know the Mario Brothers and that they are good people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just funny to think that this little orphan, her first port of call is the Mario Brothers Plumbing Company.
That's pretty good, yeah.
But Patsy the Sad-Eyed Orphan is played by Danica McKellar, best known for playing Winnie in The Wonder Years, the main love interest of the main character. That's why she's here, I'm assuming. She's done like a decent amount of animated stuff that mostly seems to be superhero things. She was Miss Martian in Young Justice, and apparently she played Jubilee in X-Men Legends. Not X-Men. There's several of them.
Just the one X-Man, please.
Is there has to be a character who's just called X-Man, right?
You're asking the wrong person. Should go knock on Kevin's door.
I bet Marvel have an X-Man who is just called X-Man. It's been like 50 years. They have to have done it by now.
Nate Gray, aka X-Man, is a powerful mutant genetically engineered by Mr. Sinister using the DNA of Cyclops and Jean Grey.
Mr. Sinister! Does it say when he was introduced? I bet it was the 80s.
Let's see. First appearance was in 1995.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the 90s were wild too.
It's just an extension of the wildness of the 80s, evolved in a weird and sinister way.
Mr. Sinister way.
Of course.
Anyway, to get back to Danica McKellar, there's one other thing that I wanted to tell you about.
Yeah.
Because she has also starred in more than 15 Hallmark movies.
Okay.
Which are mostly Christmas romances.
How many Christmas romance movies can you make, Hallmark?
Starring the same woman.
What happened to all her other relationships?
I know, I was gonna say, I like to headcanon that it's the same woman. And that it just goes wrong every time, but she never learns her lesson about finding romance on Christmas.
Like, once the spirit of the holiday dissipates and she's left with the real world and the actual experience of being in a relationship, she's like, oh, maybe this is not for me.
Yeah, I was just blinded by the season, all the tinsel and mistletoe everywhere.
The twinkling lights.
Yeah.
The familial pressure to squeeze out children.
And then he put on so much weight over the holidays. Ooh.
He's just not the same man I met a week ago.
So anyway, Patsy the Sad-Eyed Orphan is brought down into the Mario Plumbing Company. But I love Mario. He hasn't had any lines yet. He's just sitting there eating Italian food.
Italian food, which is all over the phone, I noticed.
Oh, was it? I didn't even see.
I was just like, what is this man doing?
Yeah, and like they've got the Italian restaurant tablecloth and everything.
Yep.
They really hammer home how Italian Mario is in this show. The Mario brothers feel bad for her, so they agree to throw her a party, and she suddenly reels off all these demands.
We'll throw you the best birthday party you've ever seen.
You mean it? With birthday cake and party hats and noisemakers and a VCR and a high-definition color TV monitor?
Hey, that's asking a lot, kid. I mean, we're just plumbers.
Almost like there's something suspicious afoot.
Yeah, but we're going to have to wait to find out, because it's time to play the theme song of the cartoon section of the show.
The second theme within a theme.
Yeah.
Yo, it's the Mario Brothers, and plumbing's the game. Found the secret water zone while working on the drain. Lend the princess a hand in the mushroom land. Join the action with the plumbers, you'll be hooked on the brothers. Now, Evil Koopa and his troopers are up to misbehaving. They kidnapped the princess, mushroom land needs saving. Abusing and confusing, everybody discovers they can't help but be hooked on the brothers.
I kind of love that this show has two theme songs.
Me too. And it's same, but different.
Yeah, it's just like another verse. Well, it's the first theme song is like a commercial for their plumbing business, which is why they were able to use it in the movie so seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
But the second theme song is actually about their adventures as cartoon characters.
Right. Accidentally discovering the warp zone and getting sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom.
I wonder if that, like, per the live action segments, do you think this has canonically happened yet? Or do you think the live action segments happen first?
I think the live action segments happen first. I feel like you don't come back from an experience like that.
And just go back to plumbing.
Right. Like, I went down a drain and I saw some shit and there was a princess.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, they never mention the princess in the live action segments now that you mention it.
It's like, I can't even come back from a long weekend con and feel like life is not the same. You telling me they went to a magical kingdom?
Yeah, and spent an unknown amount of time there.
Right.
So this cartoon is called King Mario of Cramalot, and you can immediately tell where we're going with this.
Yes.
I love that we've reached episode 2 and they've already resorted to just parodying popular fiction.
Right.
That's usually something that happens late on in a show's life when they're running out of ideas.
I was convinced that this was a later episode. I was like, why would Mike pick this one? I don't know that there's any new character to introduce.
No, this is the second one.
We're already in Cramalot.
I mean, to be fair, when I was picking an episode, I just went to the next one. And I was kind of like, does this introduce any new character? And then I was like, yeah, okay, it does. And then I moved on. But the new character that it introduces...
My favorite character?
Well, I guess there's Edison. All right, let's count Edison. That's not the one that I picked it for.
I mean, Edison is great, yes, but my favorite character in the cartoon segment...
Are you talking about Mervin?
I'm talking about Mervin!
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, I love Mervin.
I'll let you know when we get to the character that I picked this episode for, and then you will respond with disbelief, I'm sure, as to why I thought that was significant. But anyway, this episode was written by Perry Martin, who wrote for all 3 of the Mario shows. He also wrote for James Bond Jr. and the Bill and Ted cartoon. But after the 90s, he pretty much exclusively wrote horror. So that's cool.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I just like to think that the things he experienced were so terrible. The things in the cartoon industry just changed him irrevocably.
Well, I mean, you might not be far off, because I read an interview with him in preparation for this. It was an interview he did with Vantage Point Interviews. And he talks about how he learned immediately when working on cartoons that the best thing to do is to never watch the finished cartoon.
Oh, that's depressing.
He said that the first cartoon he wrote, yeah, this is a quote, "I thought the animation was so bad that it just ruined everything I tried to do with that script. It wasn't the fault of the art department guys at Deke. They did a good job with their designs and storyboards, but then it all got shipped overseas, which was where the animation was done. Very quickly, cheaply, and poorly.
That sounds like...
Yeah. And here's another quote that's more specifically about this show. When the first episode of Super Mario came in, Reed asked me if I wanted to watch it with him. We popped it into a VCR, hit play, and almost threw up. So looking at the final shows could be very demoralizing, and I avoided it.
Fair.
Yeah, I get it. Obviously, they were envisioning something better than what came out the other end.
Not that this is horrible, but I get it. I get it when you have expectations and they aren't met.
Yeah, for sure. So today the Marios and their friends are in Cramelot, searching for help freeing the princess's people from King Koopa. I'm confused, because I feel like in the first episode, it was established that this was taking place after they had defeated King Koopa, and they were looking for magic to send the Marios back home.
Well, they found a wizard.
That's true, and they didn't even ask him about getting back to Brooklyn.
That is also true. But, so I've already forgotten the dialogue as they were approaching Cramelot, but there's a part within the episode later on where it makes it sound like Koopa just randomly took over this kingdom after the king died. Like,
Yeah.
this is a new event that's just happened, and so they have to bully him out of a new kingdom that he's trying to take over.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that they were going there to do.
Well, no, they do specifically say that they're looking to help. Like, they get there and then the princess is like,
I sure hope Mervin the magician can help me free my people from the evil King Koopa.
every single episode of this, I am thrown off by Toad's colors being wrong.
Right?
And every time I have to go check if they're always wrong like this. And they are. Every episode we've looked at so far, he's had this weird off-Toad color scheme.
Yeah. At first I thought that I was just going crazy. I was like, has Toad always looked like that? Am I the one that's crazy?
To me, like, I see this color scheme on Toad, and I'm like, oh, Toad has a fire flower right now. That's my immediate thought when I see this.
Right.
Because he didn't look like this even at the time in the games. The colors of his mushroom are reversed. So usually it's a white mushroom with red spots, but in this show it's a red mushroom with white spots. And that's enough already that throws me off. But then those are like the only two colors on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like his jacket is the same red as the mushroom. He usually has like a blue or a purple jacket. Anyway, just
Yeah,
threw
we're
me
spending
off.
way too much time on Toad. Who cares about Toad?
What about bees?
Beads?
No, they hear
Oh.
some buzzing. And immediately Mario starts thinking about ravioli.
Yeah, he wants to drizzle honey on ravioli. I was like, is that a thing people do?
I looked it up and I did find some recipes, but they weren't normal recipes. They were
Oh.
like dessert raviolis.
Right. Like when you go to those weird recipe sites and they've just made up whatever and put it on there.
But it is weird that the first thing he thinks of when he thinks of bees is ravioli. I feel like there's other things. If they really want to double down on he's hungry and Italian, there's other things he could have thought of first, right?
You
get
would
honey in
think.
a cannoli?
But the problem is that they're not just going off of Italian foods. It is specifically pasta jokes 98% of the time.
I suppose so. I don't think I've ever heard him mention. He doesn't even really talk about pizza, does he?
No. That's what
Probably
I was
worried that
I
the
was
Ninja
assuming-
Turtles would sue.
or they'll crawl up into the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, I feel like in this period, there was this weird thing where they were like, every cartoon character has to be obsessed with a particular food.
Mm-hmm.
The Ninja Turtles had pizza, Sonic had chili dogs, and maybe Mario was just pasta. That was his whole thing.
I love it when I put my whole identity in pasta.
Anyway, it turns out it wasn't bees, it was Bezos.
Oh no, Jeffrey!
That's funny because when I looked up Bezos to like find a picture of some Bezos from Mario, the first thing I got was Jeff Bezos as a bee.
You didn't send it to me?
No, because I didn't want to spoil it. I mean, Google it right now. Just Google Bezos. You will find several different Photoshops.
Several different Photoshops.
Like, I just did it, and there's 3 that came up immediately.
Yes, it did. Are you seeing the B-movie one?
Yeah, of course. There's a couple of Mario Bezos mixed in there as well, but not many.
I'm definitely not looking at those ones. Oh, I needed that.
So, Bezo is the new character introduced here that I thought was important enough for us to look at this episode.
You're right, I am disappointed.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't look at how much of a role Bezo had. I was just like, is there a new Mario enemy in here? There is. Let's look at this one. Bezo's barely in this. For anyone who doesn't know, Bezo is basically just a fly guy with
B-wings.
B-wings instead of a propeller head. Less cool. They were in Super Mario Bros. 2, which is the most recent game when this show came out. And that's also why Mario picks up a tomato to throw it at them, because that's where we're at. That's what the most recent game was all about, throwing vegetables at people.
Right. That's why there's so much Super Mario 2 music.
Yeah, but some wizard shows up with a literal poof.
It does say poo.
The word poof appears on screen. And what did he do to the Bezos? I didn't even pay attention.
Didn't he just strike it with his staff?
Did it just go away?
Yeah.
That's the end of that. There's no more Bezos in the rest of the episode, I don't think.
He killed them all because he's so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying they're Bezos. They're like Camelot-themed Bezos because they've got knight helmets on. But you can still tell they're Bezos.
Based on the fact that they told us they were Bezos.
Yeah, and they still look like a shy guy with bug wings. So Mervin the Magician, he's your favorite, is he?
I loved him.
I liked him too, but I think I liked Edison more. Even though we saw like nothing of Edison.
I was gonna say, maybe if we saw more of Edison, but we see so much of Mervin and just how nonchalant he is.
Yeah. I don't know why they decided to make Mervin such a strong Jewish stereotype.
I loved it.
He's fun though, yeah.
He's so good.
Wait till you see my neato magic cave and my shtick with a crystal ball.
I mean, there's a reason that stereotype endures, and it's because it's a very lovable stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
I think I prefer Edison just because, even though Edison is a live-action character and Mervin is an animated one, I feel like Edison's design is so much more imaginative than Mervin's is.
It is a better design, but Mervin has the better personality so far.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Mervin is played by Robert Boxdale. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I'm not going to give it a second attempt. He was known for playing Prince Aaron and LB in Teddy Ruxpin. I don't really know Teddy Ruxpin. I was like aware of it growing up, but it was a little bit before my time.
Oh, I know Teddy Ruxpin. Not well,
yeah?
but we had a Teddy Ruxpin, and my oldest brother was terrified of it.
Teddy Ruxpin was the one where you put a tape in its back and it speaks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I had a Mickey Mouse knockoff of Teddy Ruxpin. I had a talking Mickey. You put a tape in his back and he reads you a story. He was a little bit scary, but I wasn't scared of him.
You did have the benefit of it being Mickey, and not this strange bear.
That's true. I actually looked up Teddy Ruxpin in the course of this. I had a friend who had one, but I never had one myself. And like the show was probably going off the air when I was like 3. So anyway, he was also the voice of Prince Diamond in Sailor Moon. And
cool.
He did a lot of live action stuff. It seemed like the longest running thing was playing Corporal Brian Fletcher in something called North of 60, which was a Canadian drama show. And he also more recently played Captain Jacobs in Fat Man.
Cool.
a movie about Mel Gibson being Santa, running from a hitman.
Okay.
From what I could tell from reading about it. I was mostly just surprised that Mel Gibson's still finding work.
Me too.
But, you know.
Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't in the new Chicken Run sequel. They replaced him for that.
Chicken Run sequel.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. My mom really wanted to watch it over Christmas, but we ended up not watching it. But she could never get the title of it right every time because like every day she was bringing it up and trying to get us to watch it. But she was always calling it different things that were never Chicken Run 2.
What were they?
Because I think the actual title is Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget, but she was always calling it like Chicken Nugget 2 and stuff like that. It was adorable.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mervin takes them to his house. He has a crystal ball that's actually a TV, I guess. I really like the idea that he's just kind of faking being a wizard. He's just the only person in Cramelot who has a TV. So he's just like, yeah, it's my crystal ball, and none of the rest of them know what it is, so they just go along with it.
I like the idea that he is a full-fledged wizard, but he just doesn't care about it. Like, you think of wizards, and they're all powerful and knowledgeable, and ooh. But this guy, he's just your average, everyday guy who also happens to be a wizard.
Yeah, he was just born into this career. It's a family business.
Right.
It was never his passion, but hey, it pays the bills.
Yeah, he's like, hey, come check out my cool cave. I hope my reception's good.
So we get a little backstory about how Cooper took over Cramelot, but apparently there's a prophecy that whoever can pull the golden plunger from the sacred sink can defeat Cooper.
When Mervin pulled out that book, I started cracking up because my brain says, one day a teen will roll onto the scene. And that's the prophecy.
Is this dumber or less dumb than the teen prophecy one from Pac-Man?
This is less dumb, I feel like, because like we're in a magical world where something stupid like that is plausible.
Yeah, we're not being told this prophecy by the president. It's not written in the Declaration of Independence.
Exactly. Like, it's dumb that there's a clogged sink with a golden plunger in it, 100%. But you know what else is dumb? Writing a little poem into your Declaration of Independence about a teen rolling onto the scene.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
It haunts me.
Mario goes to the sacred sink, which is just in the middle of town, and just kind of like uneventfully pulls out the plunger.
Stand back, gang! The sink hasn't been built that Mario can't unclog.
Yeah, I was fully expecting Mario to fail, and then Luigi would be the chosen one or something.
Oh, that would have been fun. No, there's no real pomp and circumstance about this. He's just like, okay, pulled that. and he's just the king now.
Yep.
That's it.
Isn't that how England chooses its monarchs?
I don't know about you, but I felt about this roughly the same way that I felt about Sonic becoming Santa.
It didn't really occur to me until the end of the episode that Mario was the king.
Yeah.
It had to be spelled out for me.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
The Koopa hears about Mario becoming the new king, and he's furious about it, and he's taking it out on his Koopa Trooper sidekick here, unnamed generic Koopa Trooper.
In yet another of our favorite type of scene, where it's just dragged out idiot is an idiot.
There's only one king of Cramelot, and who is that?
Can you give me a hint?
He's sitting right here on this throne!
Well, gee, maybe you better get off him.
So he orders his Koopa Troopers to attack the town, and then, like, the most casual attack I've ever seen plays out.
They just drop a net over Mario and friends.
Yeah, like, the people are in the town square preparing to crown Mario. And Koopa, he just, like, struts in and then some paratroopers drop a net on them from above, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah. Mario uses his magic plunger to suck part of the net away.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know.
He just like vaporizes part of it?
Magic.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not something a plunger would normally do anyway.
No. And then in the next scene, the net's just gone anyway.
What was Cooper talking about when he said this line?
I wouldn't do that if you valued a princess's beauty.
The only thing I could think is that it immediately goes to showing them being threatened by, was it Koopas?
Yeah.
Like maybe they were gonna poke her eye out or something. I don't know. They had spears.
Yeah, what, they're gonna give her like a Joker scar? I'm assuming that they weren't allowed to say life there. Like maybe the line was originally, I wouldn't do that if you value the princess's life. And then the network is like, you can't suggest that they're gonna kill the princess.
Right. There's no death in Mario Land.
You can only suggest that with actions, not words. He's like, we're gonna make the princess ugly. How do you feel about that? And Mario is immediately like, oh, here, have my plunger. Arrest me. I can't be walking around with an ugly princess.
Right. Take the plunger that made me king. Put your gross lizard lips all over it and throw me in the oubliette.
Yeah, so they're in this dungeon. Mario is like comically relaxed about it. He's just like leaning on the wall in a classic 90s cool guy pose.
I mean, Mario is bestowed with unlimited good fortune, so he's not worried about it because he knows something's just going to happen to get him out of this mess.
Yeah, that's just Mario's life, isn't it?
Yeah, like he knows he's the main character.
Like, I was convinced that Mario knew something the others didn't that was going to get them out of that, but he didn't. For some reason, I like lost my mind at Toad saying,
Very uncool, dudes.
Right! It felt jarring somehow. I'm like, it's not incorrect slang, but it just feels wrong.
Yeah, it feels wrong coming out of Toad with that voice.
Yeah.
Like, Toad isn't really being presented to us as the cool character.
He did have a snowboard.
Like, no, he didn't. I guess he briefly had it.
Yeah, he did use it, and he was briefly
That's
cool.
true.
And then he bravely sacrificed it to save all of Christmas.
Yeah, in the most selfless act anyone has ever done. He gave up his snowboard. But yeah, Mario in this dungeon keeps thinking of ways things could be worse, and then those things immediately keep happening.
It's pretty funny.
Well, for one thing, the ceiling could lower until it flattens us like a pizza. Or the room could fill with water until we all drown like rats. Huh? Hey, I gotta think of another way things could be worse.
Mario, please! Don't say another word!
And then Mervin shows up to rescue them, but the only reason we know that Mervin has showed up is because the characters look off screen and say, hey, Mervin.
Right. He just unceremoniously appears in this oubliette.
Yeah, but off screen. And also, like, wasn't he captured with them? He was with them when they were captured.
But he's a wizard. You can't contain him.
Yeah, he poofed out of the cell so that he could go and get batteries for his stuff. Because that is what he was doing, apparently. That's why he was late rescuing them.
Right, he was stuck in line.
Yeah. This is, like, clearly an animation goof. But he magics them out before the ceiling crushes them. But then we see that the ceiling stopped, like, long before it reached them anyway.
Yeah.
It still makes a big clonk noise as though it's crushed something, but it just kind of stops up there.
Right. It shows us this oubliette that they've been stuck in after they leave, and the water and the spikes are supposed to be colliding, but it's just kind of a lot of noise.
I think what happened here is that the background because the ceiling coming down is a painting that's just being moved. And I think the background painters didn't paint enough of it to have it come all the way down. And rather than fill in the rest of that painting, they were just like, it's fine, just leave it.
They understand what's happening.
Yeah. But Mervin has teleported them to the Forest of Perpetual Night and Terrible Dangers. That's its actual name.
Yeah, I loved it.
It's a good name. Really tells you what you're in for.
They just happen to be there as soon as lightning strikes a pond and an arm extends out a golden plumber snake.
Yeah, which is apparently called Excalibur. I'm mad that they couldn't think of a pun for that.
I'm mad, but also, can you think of one?
Not off the top of my head, but if you
Snake
give me a couple of
Excalibur.
days. What's a good toilet joke?
But it's not like specifically for toilets.
No. All right. Well, I don't think of anything. You know, if you have a good pun Excalibur toilet snake name, put it in the comments. Send it to us.
Send it back in time to the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yeah.
Put it in a time capsule and send it into the future.
Oh, I put it in a time capsule and send it to the past.
Oh. A backwards time capsule.
Yeah. They do work that way. It's just that nobody ever thinks to do it.
They always have it set to future.
Well, no, it's just so hard to know that it's there in the past. Because like the only way to know that it's there is to dig it up and find it, because someone can't tell you because they're in the future.
Right.
But it's there. Once you bury a time capsule, it exists there for all of time until it's pulled out.
It exists in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Past, present, and future.
Exactly. But only after you've put it in, so you can't go and like dig up a spot thinking you'll find one that you haven't put there yet. So you can't test what I'm saying, is what I'm saying.
Just go bury stuff in the backyard.
But believe me, it's true. If you buried it and then you could go back in time, it would be there. But you can't, so...
What if you buried yourself in a time capsule?
Like, what would you do?
Well, that's how you go back in time, to dig up your time capsule.
Yeah, but who's gonna dig you up? No one knows you're there.
Isn't that the fun of going back in time? Determining when and where you'll die?
Yeah, but that's more just like burying yourself alive at that point.
But there's a chance.
As long as you write time capsule on the coffin.
What if it's like those old-timey coffins that had a bell up to the top, so if you were buried prematurely, you could dingle it, and it just says time capsule with a little bell on it.
Oh, you found a hole.
A time hole.
I don't know what would happen then. That might be a paradox. Anyway, so the hand tosses Excalibur to Mario, who catches it. And I guess it has the same function as a star does.
I, real quick, just want to talk about the fact that it's, like, clearly a man's arm that extends from the pond.
Oh, yeah. It's a big, chunky arm.
Like, I thought it was supposed to be, like, a delicate lady of the lake sort of thing. But it's just a guy. Just a guy in the pond.
It's like Wreck-It Ralph's arm.
I'm gonna snake it.
So yeah, Mario is now Super Mario because he's holding the plumber's snake.
But he's dressed like Fire Mario.
Yeah, there's really not much of a distinct... I'm pretty sure in another episode he becomes Super Mario by getting a star and then he just starts throwing fireballs. So
Same thing.
Yeah, the distinction is not clear in this show. I don't think they really understood the different power-ups. Anyway, they walk for a little bit, and suddenly they're at the castle. But they weren't expecting it. They're just kind of like, oh, hey,
We'll put this here.
Catch that! It's Gramelot Castle!
And Mario, for some reason, decides that Luigi is the one who has to swim across the moat and lower the drawbridge.
Right, despite being Super Mario.
Yes, Super Mario is like, Luigi, you do it. Luigi says he can't because he's pregnant.
I'm gonna have a baby!
And I like, Mario is really just like fucking with Luigi here. Because Luigi jumps for the water and right before he hits him, Mario's like, by the way, it's full of trouters. They're gonna kill you.
Watch out for killer trotterfish!
Full of deadly piranhas that'll eat all your skin.
I guess Trouter is another Mario enemy making its first appearance here.
You're the only person in the world that even knows what that is.
Yeah, it's the fish that jumps out of the waterfalls in Mario 2.
Who's even played Mario 2 since Mario 3 came out and made it inferior?
Mario 2 is the worst one, in my opinion. That's because it's not really a Mario game, is it?
No, but it did give us Birdo.
It did, and Shy Guy.
Oh, yeah?
And Bob-omb, I think.
I guess they're alright, too.
And Mouser. I wish we could get Mouser back. I like him. More Mouser, please, Nintendo. Edison and Mouser. I love that they've sent Luigi across the moat to lower the drawbridge so they can come in through the door. But then for some reason they come in through the window.
Right. Maybe he was taking too long.
Maybe he died in the moat.
I mean, he had to air run over like a Looney Tune.
That's true. Did you notice anything strange in Mario's dialogue right before he starts fighting Koopa?
I noticed a lot of strange pieces of dialogue in this particular part, but what did you have in mind?
So right before the fight starts, and things get a little quiet for a while, the last thing Mario says is that he's bad.
I'm bad!
I think I missed that.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason that he said that. Because in the original broadcast, this is where a cover of Michael Jackson's Bad started playing.
Oh, no! Like, when that song started, I was like, I feel like there's supposed to be a different song here.
You can absolutely tell. Whenever they've replaced the licensed music, you can tell where it was. But yeah, as we've mentioned in other episodes, when the show originally broadcast, every episode had a licensed song in it. But those have all been removed for the versions that are available today.
What a weird song choice.
I know, it doesn't have anything to do with like the theming or anything.
It's just a popular song.
That's the funny thing, because I feel like all the others that we've heard have in some way been thematically appropriate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And surely they could have easily found a thematically appropriate song for like a King Arthur situation. But they're just playing Bad by Michael Jackson.
Whatever, it's a bop.
It probably, I mean, yeah, but it probably was like the most popular song around the time, I would guess. I don't know, when did it come out?
I don't know.
1987, so it'd been out for a couple of years. But it was huge. It was a really big song. And Michael Jackson was huge at the time as well, so I'd be surprised if this is the only Michael Jackson song that ever appeared in the show.
Yeah.
I bet there's a Thriller episode at some point. But just really weird. Doesn't make any sense really to me.
No, this whole scene was weird.
Toad, the princess, and Luigi are fighting the Koopa Troopers, while Mario has a plumbing tool sword fight with Koopa. Koopa's wielding the plunger. Mario has the plumbing snake. Just constantly making Italian food metaphors through the entire fight.
Yeah, there was one part I had to rewind it because the joke was so stupid, I was convinced I misheard it.
Which one was it?
Where he says something about, like, what's green and scaly and covered in sauce or something, and the punchline is just like a Koopa that fell into a bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah, that's an anti-joke.
Yeah. I was convinced I had missed something. Like, where they were talking about sauce or spaghetti or something, but no, they really just throw you into that, unguarded.
Mervin is just chilling out through this whole fight. I think a Koopa comes at him at one point and he just kind of like poofs him away.
Yeah.
Continues chilling. There's the part where Mario and Koopa start fighting on a banquet table.
Yeah.
And Koopa like bends down, grabs a plate of food and throws it, and Mario just starts eating it. But there wasn't any food on the table.
No, there wasn't.
Before that point.
I thought I was going crazy. I was like, where did he get a plate?
Yeah, so it looked like Koopa just pulled that plate out of like his inventory. It was like used plate of Italian food on Mario. Didn't work though.
No.
But so Mario wins. I love towards the end of the fight, Koopa's sounds start becoming quite distressed.
He knows he's lost.
This is where I've started calling him Bowser in my notes. My notes just kind of like go back and forth between calling him Koopa and Bowser. Because they never call him Bowser in the show. I think there's one episode. I think in the first episode they called him Bowser once. But like they just call him Koopa the rest of the time, and I can't get used to it.
I'm looking back at the footage, and now I understand why I was so confused by that scene. Because when Mario and Koopa are first fighting on the banquet table, it's a bench. It's just a bench. It's very small. It's just a wooden bench that they're fighting on. And then, like, after Koopa throws the food, suddenly we see Mario standing on this, like, wide, expansive table.
Yeah. I mean, what is a bench if not a small table for butts?
The Table for Butts is going to be the name of my first album.
Good. As Koopa makes his escape, he pulls out a magic jar, throws it, creates a door, and escapes through it. Which is a thing from Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
So that was nice. They did a little bit of research there. I wonder if they have like a name
For?
Magical potion, that's what it's called.
Real original.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there was like an official name for it, because we've always just called them jars. But yeah, I don't know why throwing a magical potion at the floor creates a door.
'Cause it's Magic Mike.
Magic Mike?
Yeah. The stripper is there. It's weird. I can't explain it.
It's a nice way for him to escape, I thought. That like ties back into the game quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So Cramelot is free.
And Mario is the king.
Yeah, they ask Mario to stay and be king, and he says yes. And I was just like, what? Hold on. What if they ran with that? What if the rest of the show was Mario being king of this kingdom that Koopa kept attacking?
Sounds kind of boring.
Yeah, it does. But it would be easier to write for, probably.
It's a good thing this kingdom is fat-phobic.
Yes, they put his crown on his head, and then they immediately try and put him on a new exercise regimen and a diet. And Mario abdicates the throne on the spot and runs away into the matte painting.
What is the point of life if you have to live it without pasta?
Yeah, if you have to exercise once in a while.
Boo!
That's the end of the cartoon, but not the end of the show.
No, we've got to go back to the sad-eyed orphan.
Yeah, the Mario brothers are setting up Patty the sad-eyed orphan's party while she watches TV and eats popcorn. And she's just making demands. It's very clear that they're in an abusive relationship with this.
That they're being manipulated.
Yeah.
By this strange child that wandered in.
But so the doorbell rings, and it's Patty the sad-eyed orphan's parents.
What?
How did they know to look for her here? Like, why did she come here in the first place? And why did her parents come here looking?
They're looking for the most gullible rubes in the neighborhood.
And that's the only explanation that makes sense. Hi, we were told that there were some gullible rubes here. Do you have our daughter? We were told that there was a mark here.
Have you seen our daughter? Braided pigtails, manipulative demon.
Yeah, because apparently Patty the sad-eyed orphan is actually Patty the habitual liar. And she regularly takes advantage of people by pretending her parents are dead. Or like lost in space, isn't that one of the examples they give of things she's told people before?
Yeah.
That's just normal in their lives. I wasn't going to talk about Patty's parents at all, because they're such minor characters here.
Right.
They're not even named. But I did do a cursory look over the actors, just in case there was anything interesting. And Patty's dad is played by Jim Ward, who seemed to be best known for playing Captain Quark in the Ratchet & Clank series.
Okay.
I also knew him for playing Doctor in Metal Gear Rising. That sounds like it would be like a random throwaway role, but it's actually a very important character whose name is Doctor.
Okay.
And he also played Hector in Grim Fandango, the main villain of the game.
Cool.
So he's someone that I knew who he was, so that was interesting.
Hanging out with the Mario brothers.
Yeah. So Patty loosely apologizes for what she did, and they have the party anyway for some reason. And we're really left feeling like there's a reason that she keeps doing this, because she seems to just keep getting away with it.
Right. Like, I kind of get it. If you've gone through the trouble of, like, buying all this stuff, you've got the cake, you've got the decorations, what are you gonna do? Just throw it all in the toilet?
No, just throw a party for anyone else.
True, kick her out. Be like, all right, Mario, let's party.
Yeah. Edison, come over.
We're having a blowout. Our hair is so large.
So it felt strangely unresolved to me because they just, they got taken advantage of and they just continued to get taken advantage of, but this time they know it.
It's definitely one of the weaker live action segments they've had.
Yeah, it feels shorter than the others as well. I don't know if it actually was.
Yeah, didn't they usually have like a mid cartoon one or something, or am I making that up?
Usually the mid cartoon one is just the ad bumpers.
Oh, okay.
Which were cut out from the version we watched.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, and it just made it feel like there's more.
Yeah, they don't tend to add much. It's usually just like, I'm willing to bet that it would have just been them blowing up balloons and saying like, we'll be back after these messages.
Right.
That's usually the kind of thing that it was, I think. So they do the Mario.
Till the next time, everybody, do the Mario!
They swing their arms from side to side.
And that's the end. It was a weird episode.
It was, but like every time I watch this show, I'm like, is it a good show? No. Is it a great show? Yes.
I just like seeing the live action segments, really. I wish that it was a whole half-hour live action show, I think.
I think the live action show is definitely what makes it feel like this show has the most heart of any of the Marios we've watched.
Yeah.
Or even more than most of the shows that we've watched.
It's because the animated segments, like Perry Martin said in that interview, the animated segments are kind of slapped together really quickly and cheaply. Yeah. But the live action segments feel like there's been a lot of like care put into them. Like the sets are nice. The costumes are pretty good. They still look like they were made fairly cheaply, but they look like they were made fairly cheaply with love.
Right. Like professionally, but cheaply.
Yeah, exactly. Like that Edison costume, man.
Somebody thought about that.
Yeah. What is he? Is he human?
Maybe that's the mystery.
Is he dancer?
The only two options.
I didn't like this episode, but I liked this episode.
That's how I feel about most of these, yes. Like, it's a dumb episode, but there was enough inside of it that I didn't feel like I wasted my time watching it.
Yeah, because I want to say I didn't like the animated segment, but I liked Mervin.
I love Mervin. He's so stupid.
So I can't say that I didn't like the animated segment.
Right.
And I didn't like the live action segment, but I did. At the same time. It's so strange. I don't know how to categorize this show.
Conundrum.
Yeah, for sure. I do wish that the story with Patty the Sad-Eyed Orphan felt more resolved.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel like it resolved at all. It felt like they just ran out of time. Well, that's it.
That's it.
There's no legacy.
Someday, Edison.
Yeah, bring back Edison. That's the legacy I want. Before this episode, I didn't even know Edison existed. And now that I do, he's all I care about.
And now that I do, I've got a Twitter fan account.
I'm going to draw fan art of Edison.
How? I can't even comprehend his design.
Oh, I can. It made sense to me.
I mean, it does, but it doesn't, you know?
Yeah, no, I liked it. It was a good design. He needs to be their friend. They're like, they don't have any friends in the business.
Yeah.
In the games. All their friends are like princesses. All their friends are princesses and dinosaurs. They don't have any other, like, working class friends to just, like, talk about work with.
Where are my blue collar friends? Yoshi just doesn't get it.
Yeah. Like, what, they're gonna go and talk to Princess Peach about a hard day plumbing? What does she know?
I don't know. Princess Peach is pretty tough. You don't know what she's done.
I don't think she's plumbing.
Probably not.
She spends all her time playing sports and making cakes.
Okay, that was exactly what I was gonna say next. I think about that segment a lot.
I mean, those are the main things. That's probably the main thing we know about her in the games, is that she likes cakes. Specifically strawberry cakes.
She was making that for the Shy Guy.
Yeah, but she makes them for Mario, like, every game, too.
That's true.
Her Mario Party stage literally takes place on a giant cake.
I forgot about that. I can't play Mario Party anymore.
Oh, yeah, I know.
We got a falling out.
Yeah, I think the problem you have with Mario Party is that you've played it too much with people who are lucid.
What do you mean?
Well, when you play Mario Party, you gotta just get into a zen state where you don't even know who's winning anymore, and you don't care.
No, the problem isn't the people that I'm playing with. The problem is me. I want to win Mario Party, but the more you want to win Mario Party, the less likely it is to happen.
That's true. The game definitely piles things onto whoever's winning.
Right. It's bullshit. I don't want to be punished because I'm doing well at the game.
I usually win anyway, though. Even when it starts piling on stuff, I'm like, push through it. But I'm usually playing it with a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing. So.
Okay, I was going to say, that is where the other people come in, because if you're in first, everybody's going to take your stars, everybody's going to take your money.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the real strategy for Mario Party is to hang back until the final 2 turns and then...
Pray for the RNG.
Yeah, just sweep into first place. Well, Mel,
Mike,
thank you for watching the Super Mario Brothers Super Show with me.
Thank you for delivering it to my doorstep in a timely manner.
Thank you, everybody who's listening, for your kind words.
For your kind ears and the time that we've stolen from them.
Thank you to our Patreon patron, Jamie Core.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you for all your support. And to anybody else who might like to join Jamie, you can head to patreon.com/Super Breakfast Friends Club and push some money into our eyes, like sand in the sandbox.
Oh, I was thinking like you were sending us down the river Styx and that's our payment for Karen.
Yeah. Oh, if you want to get rid of us.
If you want to send us really far away.
There's also coffee.com/Super Breakfast Friends Club, which I still haven't done anything with, but I will.
Mm-hmm.
And, what else is there? You can come follow us on Twitter. I don't know why. Get off Twitter. It sucks. I am Skull Pirate Mike, and you can find me at various places, including Twitch, and Blue Sky, and Tumblr, and
And I am Mel, and you can find me when you least expect it.
Is there anything else we need to say at the end of this show?
Bye!
Hey, that's my thing.
No, that's mounting the monster.
That's also my thing.
You can't have multiple things. You gotta pick one.
What, so I've got to be the guy who says bye at the end of the podcast and I can't be anything else?
Yeah. Like how my entire identity is around the fact that I have long hair.
That's not true.
It is true.
No, it's not. There's plenty of other things I think about first.
The terror you feel when you walk into a room with the lights off.
No, that's not you. I don't feel terror, I feel excitement.
Well, then I'm doing something wrong.
No, I'm just weird. I walk into that dark room and I'm like, ooh, where's Mel at?
I'm gonna get you. Where are you hiding, you little scamp?